I just wanted to start out by noting that this was the exact idea I had from Module 1. Obviously, not as detailed or elaborate as Jana Dean has crafted here, but this was my idea for a lesson that would connect math to students' lives. I'm definitely going to be using this next year in my Algebra 1 classroom. Before I answer these prompts, I just want to note that I did look up Ohio's non-tipped employee minimum wage, and it is $8.70 an hour, which again is much less than this employee claim back in 2007 of at least, you know, making $10 an hour. So I just thought that was really interesting. But features of Dean's lesson that seemed to work well. I just really enjoyed the pacing of her lesson, that this lesson wasn't just all crammed in back to back day after day. It was really spread out. And after students had time just graphing proportional linear equations, bringing in then that PBS video, which made students think about how some jobs have this upfront cost of maybe uniforms, and then tying in this idea of a y-intercept that's not zero. In terms of adapting this lesson to meet the needs of my students, I was thinking of putting my students into 6 different groups. So group 1 would research jobs that just required no education and come up with like an average minimum wage. And then another group would look up jobs that required a high school diploma or GED, and again, those minimum wages. A third group would look up associate degree prerequisites for those jobs, and then bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, and jobs that required a PhD. So just looking at those jobs, coming up with a hourly wage, and then especially with those bachelor's, master's, and PhD level jobs, those students researching education costs, and obviously talking about those huge negative y-intercepts that would be associated with those types of jobs. But in terms of a skeptical administrator, I would just argue that this clip was only about 3.5 minutes, and it is intended to just be a catalyst to engage these students. It's intended to target those students' emotions so that they are willing and ready to discuss and just, yeah, get engaged with this activity. Specifically at 1 minute 58 seconds, I was even prompted to have an extension with my students when he notes that he has $10 in his bank account and $30 in his pocket, and he doesn't get paid for 4 more days. Just challenging my students to make a 4-day budget and how much they spend, and just again get them more engaged with this activity.